I'm gonna show you exactly how to start a profitable Amazon business like these ones completely from scratch. From finding a product, validating it, getting it created, sent to Amazon, and then starting to launch it and sell it to make sales. And at the very end, I have nothing to sell you. I don't have a course that you can buy, so all my cards are on the table in this one video. Let's go. What's up, power players? Welcome to my secret channel. So let's cut the bullshit. We're gonna get right into the content here. You'll see below, I have the chapters laid out so you can skip forward and you can always revisit this video later because it is a long one. But it's going to be more valuable than any of those outdated guru courses that you see out there today. Now, I don't say that to be a hater. I say that because I started this business over half a decade ago now when I was a broke high school dropout, no funds, no experience. And since then, I've successfully launched multiple seven-figure businesses. But the reason I tell you that is because I have never seen a change so drastic than I have in the last 12 months, 12 to 18 months of this business model. That's why you can't buy a course from me. That's why all my programs are closed. And that's why I think that if you are new to this, or if you've been looking at Amazon for a while, if you've watched any content pre-2020, you need to delete that from your mind right now and start fresh with me here today as we go through this business model. So with that, let's get right into it. We'll go to product research and we're gonna go to black box. Now, what I'm gonna do really quickly is explain my 6 Ps to you briefly and then go through it live so you can see these Ps in action. So the 6 Ps of a profitable product, something that's actually gonna make you money, right? So number 1 is popularity. That means, is there demand? How popular is the product? You don't want something too popular, you don't want something that's not popular enough. Number 2 is practicality. So is it practical for you to launch this product? Just because there's a high opportunity doesn't mean it makes sense for everyone to launch it. Depending on your budget, a different product opportunity will be practical for you and it might not be practical for someone else, okay? And I'll show you that in real time. Number 3 is the power play opportunity. So where can you make your power play, your power move? Now, if you are a sports fan, a power play is usually when you have some kind of advantage, right? Other team takes a penalty, so they're in the penalty box if you're a hockey fan, and now you have a one-man advantage or a two-man advantage. That's what we're trying to find in the power play opportunity. If you don't have a way to have a one-man or a two-man advantage with your product, then it's not worth selling it. Next is the powerhouse potential. So what is a powerhouse? A powerhouse is a place that generates power, that generates electricity, that can, power an entire city. And that's what you want to find with your products. Does it have the potential to create a powerhouse for your brand? Meaning you can launch different products and you can create an entire brand and an entire ecosystem off of this product. That's definitely what you want to find, especially with your first product that you're launching. Next is profit. So if all those things check, if all those things pass, but you're not going to actually profit from it, then obviously it's not worth pursuing. The whole name of the game here is profit. You're trying to make money on Amazon. You're not just trying to give away products for the fun of it, okay? And then finally, this one, if you've been following me for a while, this is the one that I've added, which is the persona of the buyer. Now, I've always thought about, it is good to think about who's buying, but I've never really dug deep and really filtered down the way that I do now when it comes to the buyer persona. I think the entire game of Amazon has come down to who understands the persona the best. If you don't understand the persona, you really will be struggling. You'll be flailing around like a fish on Amazon. So let's get into it now. Let's go through this one by one and show you how this actually plays out when you're trying to find a product. Again, we're gonna be in black box, but there's a lot of different ways to find products, but just for simplicity and to give you guys kind of an easier, understandable, digestible process, which I think is very important, especially when you're new, we're gonna go through black box, okay? Now, a lot of people like to go through products, but I like keywords. Now, again, this is not the scope of the video to go through all of these different things. They all have their own time and place when you would use them, but we're gonna use keywords. So basically what's happening when we are in black box keywords, what's happening is it's saying, what do you wanna find? Okay, it's asking you, what do you wanna find? What search volume are you looking for? What monthly revenue? What price point? What review count? And it's going to give you results from the Amazon database that match these filters. So let's go ahead and do this in real time. And let's go search volume. I want a product that's searched, maybe let's just say 1,500. Oh, I got number lock on. So number lock is off now. 1,500 times at least a month, maximum of 30,000, okay? Monthly revenue between 8,000 and maximum 50,000. Now you might be wondering, why would you put a maximum on the revenue? Don't you want to sell a product that makes $1 million a month? Well, maybe eventually you would want to do that, but to sell a product that makes $1 million a month, that is eliminating you from the practicality bracket. I'm assuming most people are not starting with, $50,000 or $100,000 to invest right away into this business model. So if you want to sell a product that makes $1 million a month, you got to think that's probably thousands of units they're selling every month. So to sell thousands of units, you need to source thousands of units, right? Which means you need to put a huge amount of money down just to sell that product. So capping the revenue is playing into the practicality. So next is the price. So you wanted something that sells, at least, I like to say 30, 20 is good, 20 minimum at least, because you want profit, right? If you're selling something less than $20, it's gonna be hard to be profitable. And so you can do it, but even still, if you think about the profit opportunity on Amazon, why sell a product for $19.99 and make, $3 per unit or make $10 per unit when you can find a product that sells for 30 or 40. When you're thinking about investing in your first product, you want to find something that is the most profitable, right? You can be profitable with 7 different products, but you want to pick the one that is the most profitable, okay? So then we're going to cap this, let's say at $65. And again, capping the price is another way of, things that cost more, that you can sell for more, usually cost more for you to create. So we'll do that. And I want to mention all these things, I'm just coming off the top of my head right now. Filters are not set in stone. You play around with these to match what works for you, right? So next we'll go to review count. People like to really cap review count. This is something that I actually changed my mind on a little bit. I used to say you want to do like 150 reviews maximum. But really, the way I sell on Amazon now, the way I kind of look at it is you're trying to find products and opportunities that no one is selling. So if you're getting into a market where no one is selling, it doesn't really matter what kind of reviews people have, because you are going to be the only one that's selling that particular product. So you're not really competing on a review basis. You're competing on your power play. You're competing on the fact that you're super, super different, okay? So let's just say, for example, let's see if we can find an opportunity with 350 reviews, which for the most part, most people will tell you too competitive, but we're just trying to find these seed ideas right now, okay? So review rating, this is a fun one. So this is where it says, on Amazon, you get stars, reviews, 10 stars. If you're really good, maybe you get 10 stars, but it's maximum 5 stars, 1-star reviews, right? 1 to 5-star reviews. So a review rating is, let's say we put 4.4. So on average, these keywords have 4.4 star rating, which means there might be an opportunity for us to do a better job, right? So if you do something like 2 review rating, then all the products with that keyword search are absolutely terrible, right? So let's just say 4.4, because that's what we came up with. And then word count, let's say a minimum of 3, okay? Now again, these are just arbitrary numbers I'm coming up with just to see what we can find. But to explain review count, or to explain word count, that's like how many words are in the phrase. So if someone says pad, then this might come up because it's a notepad, right? But what else might come up? Thousands of pads, like mattress pads, falling pads, whatever else, knee pads, right? So that's not very specific. So someone that types pad may not be exactly looking for your product. So there's less intent to buy your specific product. But if they say, notepad, legal pad, white legal pad, that's 3 now, right? White legal pad is a word count of 3. They're looking for exactly this. So if we show them exactly this, they're more likely to buy that, right? So word count is the amount of words, and it is the more the word count, the more intent. So if it said white legal notepad with 500 pages, they're looking, and you have that exact product, they're probably gonna buy it unless your reviews, or unless you're doing a bad job, right? And the last thing you wanna do is click your filters. So advanced filters, we're not gonna cover too much. They're very, very useful, but for the scope of this video, again, we're not gonna dive into that. But what we are gonna do is we're gonna go and click your category, because you don't wanna select every category. Just select something that would be interesting to you, and go one by one. Let's just say industrial scientific. And I want to stress again the importance of picking a category that is important to you, or that you have some interest in. And this is something, again, that I've kind of changed my mind on. I used to say just sell what's the most profitable, but really if you're trying to build a long-term brand, a powerhouse brand, you need to be somewhat interested, somewhat have a little bit of knowledge on the category. One of my failed brands was my beauty brand, because I just didn't care. I didn't know enough about the products or the customer to really scale that brand. So if you're launching something that you have at least a minimum, a small interest in yourself, it's something that you would buy for yourself, then you're gonna be a lot better off. So now we go ahead and press search. And I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but I don't have a course, but I do have a Discord, a free Discord community that I just launched where we go through everything about side hustles, Amazon FBA, couch flipping, everything about making money. So if you want to join the Discord, go to the link in the description, the Power Up community on Discord. It's going to be awesome. He's super active, and I'm going to be doing a lot of cool things in there. So this is what we got. We got closed cell foam sheet, Ender 3 direct drive. Okay, these are kind of narrow. So let's go. I'm gonna play around these filters again. Let's put the word count down to 2. All right, I open my filters up even more. We're gonna search that again. Now they're way open. So let's go ahead. We have 108 phrases now, okay? So let's just go through these. And what we're gonna do, so really quickly, what it's showing you, right? Search volume, 1,700 searches a month. So every single month, 1,700 people are searching for Polymaker PLA. So now what you can do, you can go ahead and click view on Amazon, and it's gonna open this right away on Amazon, this search term, so you can look through it. Now really quickly, for those of you that are not in the United States, it's very important that you sign out of your account, and I actually like to go incognito, which I'll do. I put these all in an incognito window, and then you can put your address here, and I usually put an American address here. So if you're a foreign resident like me, I'm in Canada, and you wanna sell in the United States, it's very important that you do this, okay? So I usually put 90210 because that's the only address I know from the TV show. And now it thinks I'm in America. And then even better is to actually use a VPN. So I use Nord. This is not a sponsored post, but that would be a good time to put it, a sponsored clip in there. But yeah, I use NordVPN just so that it is actually showing me the right products. Because if you don't do that, it'll only show you the products that ship to your country. So it'll usually say here, ships to Canada. And I'm not actually seeing the whole picture. So that's very important, okay? So now again, let's go back through here and go through it all. So again, what it's saying here is that let's see, Ender 3 enclosure, let's open that up, view on Amazon. And what you wanna do at this stage of product research is you're trying to find out the popularity. So the first thing you wanna see is this a product that people are searching for? And then is there an opportunity? And is there a power play that you can make? Meaning, can you make a differentiation where you can stand out and there's enough demand that people will just buy your product automatically? So we're opening up a bunch of products here and we're gonna go through them one by one. It's kind of the idea. Let's go open this, stacking boxes. And when you're at this stage of product research, don't be too narrow. Be very open and looking at things that seem interesting. So like periodic table of real elements, right? So I think that's enough. We got 5, and we'll go through these one by one and really think about, we break these down now. So the first thing you're gonna do is when you open up a page like Polymaker PLA, you're gonna click the helium-10 thing here and click on X-ray. Now what X-ray is doing, because remember, black box only showing you the searches. So it's not showing you an actual product, it's showing you the search term, right? So this exact term is searched that many times. On average, it's $62. It's on average, this products on this search term are making $14,000. It's not showing you a specific seller with a specific product. So what you want to do now is look at all these specific sellers and see what the market looks like, right? So the first thing I notice right here is the fact that the search volume seems like it's spiking right now. So there might be a seasonal thing. So we're gonna click on this volume and see what it says. So we'll go into the 1 year all-time view. And for some reason, it is taking a huge spike here in November. Last spike was December, last spike. So it seems like it might be a Christmas product, right? So all these spikes are within a certain time frame. You can actually just highlight it and it'll zoom into that time frame, which is kind of cool. But yeah, so right off the bat, that's kind of one thing that I'll notice. So the next thing we'll look at is the actual listing. So I like to actually close that down and just look at this product just as a buyer and see what I notice. And what I notice, first of all, is that it's all the same. So basically, I don't see a real big way. This guy kind of did something different, glow in the dark. I don't see a huge way to differentiate because I feel like the product is the product. Meaning what people are looking for is what they're getting because it's just a plastic, some kind of filament. So yeah, it's what I thought it was. It's a filament for 3D printing, right? So they put this into the 3D printer. It's like selling paper. You sell paper in a 500 pack or a 1,000 pack. At the end of the day, it's just paper. So I don't think there's a real way to differentiate this product that'll make it better. And I just noticed as I look through this, the brand is Polymaker. So this is not even the product. This is a brand's product. So it's not just PLA. Polymaker PLA is a brand. So right off there, that should have been the first red flag. So we're gonna close that off. Next, we're gonna look at Ender 3 enclosure. So again, this seems like a brand. Ender 3, Ender enclosure. Yeah, so we're gonna close that one out because that is a brand. Next, stacking boxes. So this seems interesting. What is stacking boxes? Okay, so right here is a great example of keyword opportunity. This is a great example of your power play, meaning what people are searching for. Now, you guys gotta understand that Amazon, what it really is It's an idea translator. So you have an idea in your head, right? You say, you think of a product that you need to buy, and you're thinking of a need you need to fulfill. So what people do is they go into Amazon, and to the best of their ability, they try to explain this need to Amazon. That might have been confusing, so let me do it like this. You see this at a store, okay? And you go to Amazon and you say you want to buy this. Everyone's gonna have a different keyword that they enter into Amazon, right? What are you gonna call this? Stone head display, stone head with plants, garden, brain, statue, right? So those things that I just said are keywords. So when someone enters a keyword and it's not being fulfilled, so if I went to Amazon and I said garden, brain, statue, and if this doesn't come up, and that's what I'm thinking, so garden, brain, statue, the thing I showed you, right? It doesn't come up, but this is what I'm trying to buy. If someone then went onto Amazon and started selling this under the keyword garden, brain, statue, they would have got my sale, right? Because what I was trying to translate in my head, they understood and showed that to me on Amazon and gave that to me. So if garden, brain, statue has 10,000 searches a month and no one is selling this exact thing, but this is what people are actually looking for, you're gonna start making a lot of sales because everyone that searches garden, brain, statue, 10,000 of them every single month, are gonna buy your product. So that is the way we want to think about Amazon, is what are people actually looking for when they search this out, and is it being served to them? So when someone is searching stacking boxes, and the reason I brought this up is because these seem like all different products. Like I don't know what stacking boxes are. Is what people are actually looking for being served right now? And if it's not, then I can sell them the stacking boxes that they're looking for, because are these ones, these black ones, is it the Santa Claus? I have no idea, right? So a good way to find that out is to go to Pinterest. So if we go to Pinterest, and we search stacking boxes into Pinterest, what's gonna happen, it's gonna load, and we search stacking boxes, right? It comes up, and we're gonna see what people are actually thinking of stacking boxes. So it seems like it is a Christmas thing. For the most part, it seems like a Christmas decor kind of stacking boxes tower. Now, the reason that you go to Pinterest is just because Amazon is only showing you what's available for sale. It doesn't mean that's what people are looking for. It just shows you what's available for sale, right? Pinterest is showing you more of what people are looking for when they search for stacking boxes. Because when someone searches for stacking boxes on Pinterest and then they pin it, they save it, that means that's what they actually want. That's what they're thinking about. Doesn't mean they can buy it yet, right? So that's where we're gonna kind of look and see. So if we look at stacking boxes just as an opportunity, again, it is a seasonal thing. For that reason, I probably wouldn't sell it. But these listings don't look very good. I think there's a lot of opportunity for you to make a power play on these listings, just improving the listing. This guy's got 3 stars, right? And 23 reviews, he's on page 1. But just because it is a seasonal thing, we're gonna eliminate it. So this is kind of the process of product research. So we got 2 more things left. We got the pegboard and we got the periodic table with real elements. That seems like it's a little competitive, but let's take a look. So pegboard display, what is it? Again, I have no clue what it is, right? I know what a pegboard is, but what is a pegboard display? So we're gonna go back to Pinterest. And now pegboard display comes up. So we got our pegboard. It seems like pegboard display is a pegboard on a stand. So it's not just a regular pegboard, it's like a pegboard box like this. So let's go to Amazon and see who is serving this option up. So it seems like this guy right here is serving it up. He's got 1,000 reviews, 60 reviews, 1,000 reviews. So it's kind of competitive with these two, and these are all the same brand. So as again, one brand is dominating this search, which is a concern. So because the reason that's a concern is because if pegboard display is getting a bunch of searches and it's one brand dominating it, you don't know where those searches are coming from. They might be coming from off of Amazon, right? So it might not just be organically people going to Amazon and searching for it. They might have a following on YouTube. They might have a following on TikTok, or be running ads, and people are searching it out because this brand is bringing in all the sales, right? So Azar displays, they're doing really well, 6,000, 30,000, 10,000. Let's see if anyone else is doing a decent job. Someone's doing okay. He's doing 50 sales, but he's doing 200 reviews. It's not the same thing. This guy, it's another Azar Displays. So no one is really, besides Azar Displays, is doing what they're doing. Now, another thing that would concern me is when we look at, so this is popularity, right? This is how many searches, how many sales is this keyword generating, which is 1,500 a month for this keyword, right? 1,800 a month. But then we took a look at practicality. It seems like a huge product, right? So let's just look at this really quickly. And they got so many different variations of it. And again, it is like a large pegboard display that you would put a bunch of products on, it seems like. So that's gonna play into the practicality when we think about, okay, can I actually afford to source it? Because something that's this large is going to be more expensive to source, it's going to be more expensive to ship, it's going to be more expensive to store in Amazon. So that's something you want to consider, right? So again, right off the bat, I would be a little bit shying away from this product just because of the brand dominance here. People seem like they're looking for this, and then it seems like it might be a little bit expensive then to compete with them. So we're down to the periodic table. And again, guys, this is how it goes. Now, one thing I'm not doing, which I guess we should do here, because it's our last kind of run, is clicking into the product. So a lot of people look at product research softwares like Blackbox and they think that this is it. They think they should be able to enter filters and then their Blackbox is going to give them all the answers they need, which is not really the case. Blackbox is really just an entry point. This is your way to find a niche, find a market you wouldn't have thought of, and then from here, click into it and say, okay, what other options are there from here? Like what other, go to down this rabbit hole of other products that are here in the more items to explore, right? Frequently bought together, brands related to this search. So for example, we got this tungsten thing. We got these chemistry molecular kit, right? We got this cool looking thing. So let's look at this, whatever this is. And the reason, by the way, the reason I clicked on this one, because it looks like it's the worst listing. So it's here, it's got 126 reviews, but this image looks really, in my opinion, really ugly. Like they have this cool 9-piece set. They could have displayed that a lot better, and that's why I'm gonna click into that listing to see. So right off the bat, yeah, the images suck. It's really ugly. This bullet points suck, and it's selling for $64. It seems like a pretty easy product to make, small product, different pieces of metal that you could probably get created pretty simply. So let's go ahead, and what I'm gonna do now is when I do this, I go to the search that I think it is, element cube. Make sure you go to all departments, put that into the search so that we can run the black box or the X-ray for the entire marketplace. So when this loads up, we're gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, so first let's look at this marketplace. So element cubes, which is just the keyword I came up with off the top of my head, the listings here are all scattered, right? So these listings are all trash. They all have less than 100 reviews, which is crazy. These are all the guys on page one. This is $4,000, $3,500. So 17 reviews, 28 reviews, right? All really low reviews. The listings are terrible. So right off the bat, if this is getting searches, this could be a really good opportunity. So we're gonna go ahead and click this. I'm gonna click on X-ray, and so there we go. So not much search volume. That's what I was concerned about. So no one's searching for this, basically, this term element cubes. But actually, if you guys didn't miss that, this guy is making $28,000 a month. So someone is searching for something. It just means we didn't get the best keyword. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna click on this guy's listing, right? And we're gonna click Run Keyword Search. And what's gonna happen is it's gonna open Cerebro, which is another Helium-10 tool. And what Cerebro does is it looks and it analyzes the product listing and it says what keywords are indexing for this product, meaning what keywords are attached. So what keywords is he generating sales from, in short, right? So you can see here the ASIN is in Cerebro now, and the ASIN, right here, ASIN, A-S-I-N, is a unique identifier for products on Amazon. So it's now, Cerebro is looking at the ASIN and seeing what keywords are attached to that ASIN. And what we're gonna do from that is see where is he getting his sales from. So you can see here it pulled up and it says total keywords attached to this listing is 2,500 and frequently bought together, word frequency, so cube and metal. And what we're gonna see here is the #1 keywords that is actually getting him the sales. So metal cube has 1,000 searches, right? Now, what's important to see is where is he actually ranking? So there's a bunch of keywords, 2,297 keywords, but that doesn't mean he's getting sales from all of those. It doesn't mean he's getting a bunch of sales from all of those, right? So what we wanna do is find which ones he's getting sales from. And the way you can do that is filter by organic rank. Organic rank means where on the page is he? So on this first page of Amazon, where is he, right? So this is not sponsored, this is sponsored, this is sponsored. So this is organic rank, position #1, okay? So as you scroll down, it goes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're gonna see where he's on the first page of Amazon. So basically, let's say rank 1 to 25, okay? And at least, let's say 250 searches every single month for this product or for the keyword. So you press apply, and now we know, right here, you can see organic rank. So he is position 1 on this term for metal cube, element, samples, element cubes, metal cubes. So how do we know that means he's getting sales there? The reason we know that is because Amazon is not gonna put a product on position 1 if it's not getting sales. The whole goal of Amazon is to match people up to the keywords that they think are gonna generate sales, right? So if you're not selling, Amazon's not gonna rank you #1. So if he's organically ranked #1, we know he's generating sales for that keyword. Now, one thing to keep in mind, this organic rank thing, it has a date range. So it's like within 7 to 30 days, right? They're all different. So it doesn't mean if you click into it, let's like see Metal Cube. Let's see if he actually is organic rank number 1. He might not be. So he's sponsored there. He's 1, 2, he's actually ranked number 3 here, okay? So just keep in mind, these are not updated in real time. This is a general idea of organic rank. But from here, we get the idea of what is really the best stuff. So Metal Cube is interesting, but I feel like it's not the most relevant, right? Because there's a bunch of different things coming out. So we're gonna see what is really the most relevant. And to me, that what pops out is density cubes. Has 1,000 searches. Let's see what density cubes is. He's ranked number 3. So let's go see density cubes. And right here, we found, this is basically the product. So density cubes. So now we know, okay, density cubes, that's the main keyword. So what we would do now in the popularity phase of this is trying to find out how popular is it, is not only how many searches, but how many variations of searches. You don't want a product where it's only one search, where density cube is the only search that you can have to make sales. Because then that one search will become competitive, right? You want a product where you can make sales, be not ranked number 1 for a bunch of different keywords, because not everyone goes to Amazon that wants to buy the product and is gonna search density cube, right? They might search element cubes or metal cube or whatever else cube, right? So you want a keyword or a product where there's multiple opportunities for you to rank number 1 for different keywords and not just on one. So next phase would basically be to go through each of these individually and see, okay, which ones are relevant, which ones could I rank for and get sales from, and then add them all up. Which obviously, I don't wanna do that all in this video, but let's just say we were to do that, right? Let's say we grab these things here. So let's just, for example, say these were the most relevant keywords. We found 21 keywords that were actually super relevant. We can go ahead and add them to a list. So we can make a list called density cubes inside here, a folder, create that. Then you go to keyword research, you go to my list of keywords, click on that. And you go to density cubes and you go to export folder and you go to magnet, okay? And what's gonna happen here is it added all those keywords from your list into here, and you say that those were the most relevant ones, right? Those are the 21 or 23, whatever it was, most relevant keywords. You press get keywords, and what Magnet's gonna do is gonna run a search and make a comprehensive search for those relevant keywords. And you're gonna get basically your data for your opportunity of the market, right? So this is your popularity. So now you know that the total search volume is 7,000 searches. So the most relevant keywords, you have a total of 7,000 searches a month. Some people will say that's low, but think about that. If you have 7,000 searches a month and no one else is really doing a good job, no one else is providing the powerhouse, the power play that you're gonna provide, and you know that there's a gap in the market based on your research on Pinterest and whatnot, you can be making serious money from that, right? Maybe it's not gonna be 100K a month, but you can be making 10K a month, especially a product that sells for $60, especially you saw the one guy was selling $28,000 a month, you could definitely be making $10,000 a month profit off something where the main 20 or so keywords, 15 total keywords actually, generate 7,000 a month. Now one thing I didn't do is look at the seasonality of this. So it does have spikes not in December, in May and November. Let's see density cube, let's look at all time and see when the spikes are at. So it definitely has a tendency to spike in September, August. Let's see, September, August. So that's interesting. So it's kind of a nerdy science kind of gift, it seems like, and it spikes at back to school time, right? So August, September, it's probably a gift for that nerdy science guy, nerdy science kid who is in love with elemental cubes, who knows? So this is right here. I would deem this as, with the popularity that we saw, 7,000, right? The kind of demand for this keyword, I would say this is a decent enough product to pursue and look at. So right now, what I would do is I would open up my list. I would open up a list on Trello. I like to use Trello. You can use whatever the heck you want. I just like Trello because it's free and easy. And I would just add a card, right? So I would go density cube. And I call it the bucket where I put everything. So density cube, let's say stacking boxes. Everything goes on here, and then as you are ready to, you did a little bit more research, now it's time to put this into the validate. So we're gonna put density cubes, go to validate. Popularity is there's enough demand in comparison to the opportunity. So 7,000 searches a month, I deemed it to be okay and interesting because I feel like there's a big opportunity here. It's not like there's 7,000 searches a month and there's so many of the same product and everyone's doing the same thing. It's 7,000 searches a month and I feel like there's a big opportunity because the number one guy is doing, in my opinion, a horrible job with his listing, right? So that's where the practicality comes in of seeing, okay, is it a practical opportunity? It's not just, is it an opportunity of popularity? Is it a practical opportunity? Meaning there's something there, right? There's an inkling of an opportunity. And so that's what I'm gonna go ahead and put onto the validate list, okay? So now let's go ahead into the validate portion of this and see really how do we find out if it's gonna be profitable? How do we find out where to make the power play, meaning where to make the differentiation? How do we find out the powerhouse opportunity, meaning is it just a one-off, or can we branch off and make a brand off of this? And all of those pieces of validate come under the 6th P, the buyer persona, the persona of the purchaser, because all of those flow through that. So right now, once you build a list, and in real time, what you would actually do is make a huge bucket, maybe add 20 products to your bucket. Little by little, look through them all, see the keyword opportunity, see what Magnet says, see how much opportunity there is for search volume, and then you would pick your favorite ones from that with the best opportunity that you think, you get that little inkling of a differentiation. You put it into the validate, and now you're gonna go through and build like 3 different product avatars. But right now, we're just gonna build one persona, one avatar around the density cubes and see if it checks out. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let's do validation. So the first part in identifying your power play, your differentiation, is to find where to make improvements on what it already exists, and then where to make improvements for what people want but they don't know to ask for that doesn't exist. Like Steve Jobs said, if he asked people what they wanted, they wouldn't have said an iPhone. Or like Henry Ford, if he asked what people wanted, they would have said a faster horse, right? So we're gonna go through here and look at the reviews. That's the #1 key indicator of your power play. First of all, actually, your first power play is that you're gonna have a better listing. Your pictures are gonna be better. You're gonna display this better. Now just my gut feeling of what I think about this product, it seemed like it's a gift, right? We've kind of seen that through the fact that it spikes up in September. I feel like it's a gift product that most people aren't buying it for themselves. Maybe they're buying it for, their son or their boyfriend, something like that. So first thing that you want with a gift is make it look really cool. If someone has this elemental cube set, most people that buy sets of things, sets of shoes, sets of books, sets of anything, they want it to be displayed somewhere. They're not putting this in their drawer, right? They're displaying it. So I would have it so it looks nice on a display. Maybe include some kind of stand for it, right? Make these pictures nicer, pop. Like I can barely tell like what these are. Like if they were bigger and they popped and they were 3D rendered and they really stood out, you would do a way better job on this. Your bullet points. These bullet points are just trash, right? As the images go down, just really low quality images. Like look, it looks so low quality. I would definitely have 3D rendered these to make these just look really nice, okay? And again, the measurements of it, I would always put some kind of, this is kind of fine with the fingers, but I always put some kind of reference, like put it beside a quarter, right? So just with that being said, off the top of my head, let's go into the reviews. Now, one thing you can do is go into reviews, click here, or what's actually a lot better is to go into review insights on Helium 10. But what you gotta do first is select what you're looking for. So we can look at the worst ones, 3-star, 2-star, and 1-star. We can extract those reviews. And the 2 1-stars say super tiny, super tiny. So right off the bat, that says 2 things. Either 1, you make it bigger, or 2, the only reason they're complaining that it's tiny is because they didn't know it was gonna be tiny, right? So like I said, make sure they know the size. Make science real. Great for science learning so kids can hold an actual piece of copper. All but 1 perfect. Bought for my older son for his birthday. So there you go, giftability, right? So next thing you can do is we'll just put all reviews and we'll say gift. Let's just see if anyone has that in the reviews. So here we go. 2, fun to gift to a nerdy kid, right? And then this guy gifted it to his son. So there, right off the bat, we can see, okay, it's a gift. People think it's super tiny. That's kind of the main thing. So power play opportunity, already have 3. Make the listing better, take better images, have a reference for the size, maybe make them bigger, have some kind of way to display them as a gift, and make your bullet points better, right? So those are actually already 5 right there just from looking at the listings or just looking at the reviews of the one listing. And I would go through this and go through all the listings and really see what they're all saying. But what I really want to hone down on and focus on is the customer avatar. So it says example here, but this actually is a real customer avatar for one of the products that I'm launching, that I'm working on right now. So you can kind of see how I go through it. I have a description of him. Talk about who he is, kind of quick bio, psychographic. This is a work in progress, so I would put a quote here. demographic, his work life, what he makes, his goals and values, what are his pain points, what is he committed to, where does he get his info from, what are his objections and his roles, what are some buying behaviors offline and offline, then some online and offline, and then I have like some questions here, what products does he love, where else does he shop? So this is something that you really, really need to understand and really build out when you're developing your product, your customer avatar. Then I go into his day. What does he do when he wakes up to when he goes to bed every day of the week? What is in his mind? And this is kind of where I have inspiration of where my product is gonna sit and how it's different. And then I go into the actual product here, which I'm not gonna show you guys on this video. But that's what we're gonna build out. And so you might be wondering, how do you build this out? And this is the one thing that I always stopped on because it always seemed like fairy dust. It always seemed like mystery potion. That's like, you need to make an avatar. You need to find out how old is he, where does he live, how much money does he make? And it's like, how am I supposed to know that? I'm just supposed to make that up in the top of my head. So I just skipped that, right? I'm just like, oh, whatever. I'm just gonna sell this product. Whoever wants to buy it will buy it. But then I found out something really cool, actually, really recently, what I call the #1 customer avatar social media in the world. It's not Facebook, not Instagram, not TikTok, not Twitter. It is actually called Reddit. Now, the reason Reddit is amazing is because it is anonymous. So people will come onto Reddit. The only things people look at on Reddit are things they're interested in. So there's things called subreddits. If you're not familiar with Reddit, there are subreddits. They're basically forums where people are just gonna post things and follow things and comment on things that they really, really care about. And unlike Facebook, unlike Instagram, where people are trying to portray a character, they're trying to show the best part of themselves. On Reddit, no one knows who you are. So it's really, it's amazing to get into their mindset, because there's no reason for people to lie. There's no reason for people to, be a different version of themselves. They're not posting pictures of themselves. They're just in chat rooms that they care about. True off my chest, right? Ask Reddit, Apple Car, whatever, technology. The only people that are gonna be in our technology are people that care about technology. So we're gonna go ahead and go to Reddit, and what I like to do, and you can see what's trending today, abortion pill. Okay, so we can go into Reddit and we can search the product. So that's the first thing you wanna do, is find the product. Who's talking about density cubes on Reddit? And if we're lucky, we'll find a subreddit where people just talk about density cubes. But for most products, you're not gonna find a subreddit where it's just about that product, but you'll find the subreddits where people are talking about the product. And right there, we have a density cube, little carbon density cube, and element collection. Guys, element collection, okay? Mineral porn. This is like a gold mine. If you were gonna sell this stuff, there is an entire subreddit of people that collect elements. Who would have known that, right? I wouldn't have known that. I would never even thought about that. But on Reddit, here are the super fans, the people that absolutely love this product because they spend their time on a subreddit called Element Collection. There's 3,000, almost 4,000 members in this subreddit devoted to collecting the product that you want to sell on Amazon. So if you are trying to target a market, this is where they live. This is where they congregate. They not only bought this for their son, they not only bought this to put it on their desk because they thought it was cool. They are spending their free time on Reddit to discuss this with other people. This is a much better, this is a much better outcome than I would have predicted. So what we do now is we go and we find out who are these people. What else are they interested in, right? So let's go, and what you can do is you can click on the user, okay? So this guy, Chef and Scientists, he has posts on Reddit. So let's see what he's posting, right? This is a peek into his brain, basically. So the blue ones are what things that are posted by him. Dude, where did you get that cube? It looks sick. So right off the bat, we know they like this cube. It looks cooler than the ones that are already offered. So if we go back and I went to incognito for this, again, to get the proper results. So if we go back to Amazon, right? What do we have here? We have the element, the little number at the top, and then coppered on the bottom. These guys are saying this one looks sick. These got numbers on the side, numbers on the bottom, and then number in this corner. So, and also it has this little bevel. So right off the bat, we know, okay, that's a power play opportunity. Now he says it was a Kickstarter project a few years back. So let's see if we can open that one up, see what the Kickstarter project was. Amazing, okay, amazing. So right here, we had $99,000, guys, almost 100 grand was put into this project for this exact product that we're trying to sell, right? So we have 1,100 backers, and we can go into the comments here and see what they're saying, right? See what they're talking about. Why did they buy this? Why did they back this project? What is it about this project? And we can go into FAQs, what makes this project cool? But another cool thing he says is there's a similar set on Amazon. So let's look on this. Right there, $249. Okay, so these guys are paying huge money for this. And what did I say would be one of the main things we would want to do? We want to make a display case, right? Some kind of stand to show these off. Like I said, I had a feeling, I knew that this would be something that people want to display. So instead of just selling this, how hard is it to make a metal tray to sell this product, right? So let's go back here and just peek into his brain. So right off the bat, one post, two interesting insights. Make a cube with this, whatever bevel, maybe print it a little bit differently, include a tray. So this one, until I have time to build a case, I keep my samples in a case like this one. So we can go in here and see what they're talking about. Cheap ways of storing elements. So we can click expand and it'll show the original question. So I start collecting elements, but I don't know how to store them. I have a spare shelf. I want elements to be organized. Boom. Okay, right there. I want elements to be organized. So this is another peek into his brain. They're not just, like I said, people that are putting in a cupboard. They want these elements to be organized. So this is one of his desires. This is one of the reasons that they're collecting these elements, because they want to display them and organize them. Until I have a time to build a case, I keep my samples in a case like this one. If we're lucky, this is an Amazon. It's an Amazon listing. And again, there you go. It's amazing, right? It's like, it's everything you need to know. They're literally showing you what they want. So these are the people that are your dream customer. These are your persona. They have these elements that they collect. They spend their time collecting these elements. And what if you offered them this case to go along with it? Tell me that the person searching for a density cube on Amazon that sees you have a tray, that sees you have this cool beveled looking cube, that sees you have this, whatever this is, this case, tell me they're not gonna pay you 2 times as much as this. Tell me they're not gonna pay you $120 to get that all-in-one thing that they're looking for, right? So let's just go ahead, and this is the rabbit hole that we can go into. The guy that asked the original question here, we can go into his link, into his profile, and see what he's talking about, right? So we can go see that he's in subreddit for Titanfall, which is a video game, so he's a gamer. He's in r/teenagers, so he's a teenager, right? So he's not some adult, he's, like I said, this geeky nerd that wants to collect elements. What else? So most of this is Titanfall, and then element collection again. And what we were seeing here is this guy who is the teenager who is on a low budget. And then we have the first guy that we saw who paid $200 whatever to buy the other one. So we gotta see now, what is the actual dream customer? Is it the person who, is it mostly kids who are on a budget? Then we speak to them. Or is it these, well, I don't know what he does, we can kind of look into it. And the cool thing about Reddit is so many times I've went into Reddit and they talk about what their career is. They tell you exactly what their career is. They tell you exactly how much money they make. It's crazy, right? So we can go in and try to find more about from Chef and Scientist, who really has these really cool displays on here. Oh, we're on his display right now. Look at this too, like really badass shot. Looks like such a cool way to make a periodic table display. Thanks. So here we have cube and chunks. So guess what I'm gonna put on my listing? Guess what's gonna be on my images? Even if I don't sell these chunks, guess how I'm gonna show this product off on this listing. I'm gonna show that on this tray. Then one by one, I'm gonna display each element and show it with these chunks, the way that this guy's displaying it here, right? And then I'm gonna show maybe if I'm adding this this shelf, I'm gonna put them all on a shelf and make them look really cool based on what we've learned here, okay? So you wanna really dig into this, and what I do, like I said, is I go into my Notion, and I can probably make this a template. I've never done it before. But I can make this a template so you guys can go through this all and fill it out yourself. I'll add that to the Discord community, the Power Up community on Discord, completely for free. Even if you don't have Discord, join that community. It's gonna be great. If it's the only community you have on Discord, it's gonna be worth your time. So I'll add this template there for you. But what I like to do, I just put notes. So I go through all these, put all these notes in here, just as I go, as I find things out, like I'll say, add chunks, add whatever, and then I'll actually organize these out later. So actually I also have a Trello board. This is where I actually take my original notes. So again, I'm super disorganized kind of. I'm not like one guy who like sticks to one platform. I like to get shit out of my head into a place. So Trello is where I usually put that stuff. So this is the same customer avatar. I changed the name to example, but this is a real product. So I'll put like, demographic study, like what is he talking about? Like for example, let's just go into one of these guys that I know had crazy stuff. So here's what it would actually look like. These are the subs that I found he's in. like finance, home lab. I didn't know I wanted that, right? Then he has money ideology. These are his actual posts. He says, I make 130 grand a year. I'd say money makes me happy. You know, I'm able to save money every month for myself and my kids. So I know he has kids. I know he's married. I know all these guys basically make 100 grand plus a year. How he thinks about parenting, the YouTubers he follows. So this is kind of where I would go through. And what I would do is I would take this, right? I would take this image, I'd take this post, and there's a very interesting thing that you're also seeing here is the aesthetic. It's not just about the product, it's the aesthetic. It's how is he displaying this? He's displaying with an Edison bulb. He's got this cool, whatever this metal is, this tungsten, right? This is probably tungsten, made of tungsten. These are different things made of tungsten. This right here is antimony. So he has other metals that are made of antimony. This is everything you need to know about how to display this product to absolutely kick ass as an Amazon seller. Like, no joke, I bet you could actually launch this product. Like, we found this in 5 minutes. You could literally probably launch this product, do all these things I'm saying right now, and you would probably make money on this product, guys. And again, we found this like just today, okay? And the reason we found all this, these data points is because we're using Reddit and we're finding out who's this customer. Okay? And so we've identified multiple power play opportunities, first by finding out the persona. And now once we have this persona, we can really look and dig what else is he into, right? What else? Like, what is this? Gases. So this is where you're gonna find the powerhouse. And I would say this is a powerhouse opportunity because it's not just that they bought this one, there is a whole subreddit dedicated to this element collection. So I would say you could probably launch other elements. So you could sell this seven periodic table elements as one set, right? You could sell different ones as one-offs. You could sell the cases to display them. You can sell the different stands to display them. You can sell, you can dig in that way. And right there, I would say, yes, it is a powerhouse opportunity. Maybe you sell these other little things like this, whatever metal that's not in the cube, right? So it completes their set. Like, this guy seems like he's flexing hard because he has all these things as a set, not just a cube. You can probably sell these little containers that hold this stuff like sulfur. So right here, this is how we are identifying product opportunities. And I hope that this is exciting you because I know there's not many people that actually talk about Amazon this way and really dive into how are you building a brand, right? Because one thing to say, hey, I found this element set. Most people would stop here and they would say, oh, I found this element set. It only has 7,000 searches. Probably not a good idea. But what we did is we found the element set. We said, okay, 7,000 searches, but there's opportunity. If I dominate those 7,000 searches a month, I know this one guy's making 28,000, and I know how can we be better than that one guy. We've dug into the persona of the buyer. We found out what they like, what they enjoy, the aesthetic that they have, how much money they make. Are they teenagers? Are they making a bunch of money? As we didn't dig that far, but you could find that out just by going through this Reddit, right? If you really were serious about it, you would go through. There's 3,600 members, right? So you go through a bunch of them, really find out, really dig in. You create a persona like this, really understand who he is as a person. And then when you come out to Amazon, you have this offer that's built for him. When he sees it, he searches Element Cube, boom, right away, it's not even a question. It's not about reviews, it's not about whatever else, it's about you are speaking to this person. And I like to talk about persona, and this is the last thing we'll mention on it, and then we'll move on to the next thing. But the way I like to think about persona is imagine I give you $1 million. Like right now, I'm gonna hand you $1 million. It's amazing, right? You're gonna call your grandma, you're gonna call your girlfriend, you're gonna call your brother, and you're gonna call your best friend. How are you gonna break the news to them, right? To your brother, you might be like, yo, fucker, check, you're not gonna believe what the hell just happened to me, it's the best day, whatever. And then to your grandma, you'd be like, hey, grandma, make sure you're sitting down, I have really something interesting cool to tell you. To your girlfriend, you'd be like, pack your bags, we're going to Hawaii. The same news, okay? It's the same news. You won $1 million. You're gonna deliver that news differently to different people in your life. And that's how it is with a persona and someone buying a product. You're not gonna speak the same way if you're selling this to a broke teenager than if you're selling it to a rich science nerd who's like a software engineer who just loves science stuff. You're gonna speak to them differently. Because imagine if you talk to your grandma the way you talk to your girlfriend. That would be an awkward conversation, right? So if you're talking to customers and buyers on Amazon and you're not talking to them the right way, it's just an awkward conversation. If you're talking in terms of like, hey, save money, it's the cheapest Element Cube set you can buy, but he's a software designer who makes 100 grand a month, who's looking for a $200 element set, he's gonna be like, that's disgusting, I don't want that, I want premium. Or if you're talking to a teenager and say, hey, the best, most premium Element Cube in the world, you won't be able to tell the difference between this and whatever, the element you find in the ground. He's like, I don't really care, I just want to collect this and put it in my bedroom. So you got to really dig down the persona And that is what I think in 2022 and onwards is really gonna set apart the person that can build an actual Amazon brand that can exit for 7 figures or 8 figures and sell their brand eventually in 3 years versus the guy who sells an element cube, eventually dies down, can't beat the seasonality of the product, and eventually fizzles off and dies off, right? So that's the difference. So really, really don't take this lightly. I'll make this a template. I'll put it in the Discord, the Power Up community, join it, and you can get this from there. The popularity, we saw the keyword demand, we saw that there was a variety of keywords. The practicality, we understand that, yes, it is practical for us to sell it if we're starting on a lower budget because, you know, there's not that many searches, but it's practical because at a lower budget, there is enough opportunity that we can get in there and sell maybe, depending on how much we source that for, that's a much more affordable product than a product that sells 1,000 or 2,000 products a month, right? Then we built up the persona of the buyer really briefly on Reddit. We saw from that persona and from the reviews that there is a huge opportunity to make a power play, to make a big differentiation, to come up with a different product. And we saw that it is a powerhouse product in that we can make an entire line. Maybe next, we didn't even look, we can launch these spheres. We can launch these, whatever these are, weights or whatever it is, and really look at these dice. The person that's on that Reddit, he's gonna love these dice, right? So like we can really dig in and make an entire brand off of this, 100%. I'll put money on that. Like you could make an entire brand off of this. And the last thing I guess we didn't check was the profitability, and I'll just show you how to check that at a bird's eye view really quickly. There is a bunch more calculations that would go into it, but at a bird's eye view of profitability, you can click on this. First thing you wanna do actually is hit X-ray, and then you're gonna go find suppliers on Alibaba. Once you find suppliers on Alibaba, the first thing you wanna do is look at the average price. So we got $8 to $11, $35 to $300. So it varies, right? $10 to $20, $6 to $8. So I'd say just on, again, this is very bird's eye. This is not like a deep dive, but we'll say it's like $10, $15. Let's just overestimate, say it's $15 for the set. So the next thing you wanna do is click on the profitability calculator right over here. And from here, so the price is $74.99. I think if we came out with the power plays that the differentiations, right, that we thought of, I think we could probably sell this for more. We could probably be the premium brand and sell it for like $75. And then we come and say the manufacturing costs, we overestimated at $15, right? Let's say we want to come up with a stand. We want to come up with different things. Let's, again, even more overestimate it at $20, and then unit freight costs right now, just because of the shipping with the global supply chain, it's probably about $400 per cubic meter. And then that comes down to, let's say we store it for 3 months, we got a 54% margin, which is great. That's 100% profitability, check. Just based on these broad calculations, again, we would dive down deeper into this as we get more manufacturing costs, as we do a little bit more research. But this is enough. If you see a 50% or more margin, that is enough for you to pursue and go on to the next step, which is product development. So you're ready to develop your product. Most people would think that that process starts on Alibaba, which is where we're at right now, to go sign or message suppliers and say, hey, I want to create a product. But that's really not where it starts. If that's where you're starting, then you're already 3 steps behind. Product development really starts in your branding, which is way beyond the scope of this video. Maybe I'll make a video on that later. But then after branding, it's about how are you making your design different? So we already said we want to stand. We want to maybe make those beveled cubes. We want to have a display case, maybe sell with chunks, right? So that process really begins with a designer. So for the most part, unless it's simple. So I'm going to show you 2 technical examples. So one of them you can probably make for yourself depending on what the differentiation is. So let's say we wanted to add a stand and we wanted to add beveled cubes. So we can go here and I'll show you this request for quote that I created for a product that I was thinking about launching. This is called the Bodycoon action figure. So if it's something simple like a size or like we said, a stand, you can make a request for quote like this and make it detailed, right? So this is a toy I want to sell. I wanted to increase the height. So I wanted, instead of a 5-inch toy, I wanted to make it 8 inches. I wanted to make the joints stronger so they didn't break off and so that the parts didn't get stuck into this little thing. So this is actually my request for quote that I sent out to suppliers. I want to change the color as well. So I put it all here. The modifications I want, there's really 3 modifications: the color, the dimensions, and the materials. So if it's something simple like this, you can probably put this together yourself, get some pictures, get some diagrams made. You could probably literally, I made this in Photoshop, but you could probably make this in like Microsoft Paint, right? So you don't need any skills to do this. But then if you're going with a very detailed differentiation to a product, you're gonna need a designer, like an industrial designer. And I would go to Upwork, look for industrial designer, create a gig, and just find someone that can do the art for you. or the design for you, kind of think about the prototyping, and this is a little bit, of course, more of an investment, but if you're thinking about making a long-term brand, something that really stands out, something that's hard to replicate on Amazon, which of course, maybe not of course to you, is the biggest problem with Amazon sellers is that you sell a product and then everyone's copying you. If you really come out with a unique design, have an industrial designer, you're in the real e-com game, not just an Amazon seller game, but something that is more than just Amazon, it's a real brand, right? So that's where I would hire an industrial designer, and I'll show you, this is not what they would come up with, but this would be kind of similar. So this right here is called a tech pack. This is for a clothing brand. If maybe you follow my other YouTube channel, this is for the clothing brand that I was going to launch and still am going to launch. I just paused it for a while. But this is what a tech pack looks like. So in garments, if you're doing any textiles, if you're doing bags, backpacks, you would come out with a tech pack, which is a technical pack that shows everything that needs to be done, right? Down to the measurement of where the logo is measured from the collar, how long the logo is, how the print is measured on the back, you know, how it looks on the side, if you have anything, the stitching colors, right? The color coding, the fabric type, everything will go into tech pack. So this is kind of what you would come up with if you have something that is fabric. Then you would have something similar to this if you were also doing an industrial design for a physical product as well. But I just want to show you that this is what you need to get done before you head to Alibaba and start sending them requests and start reaching out to suppliers. Because once you have that all done, then you can reach out to suppliers, and it's very simple. They can tell you how much it's going to cost if they can produce it, how much it costs for the customization and things like that. So that's what you need. And then once you are ready and have that done and made, then we can head out to Alibaba and look at manufacturing. So manufacturing is one of those things where people get really scared of and think it's kind of hard, but in my opinion, it's probably the easiest process to this whole Amazon game. It's really just about finding a supplier that you like, that can provide what you want, and making a good relationship with them, right? Like, we could go deep into, you know, negotiating and different terms and things like that, but for this, I want to show you just basically how to find a good supplier, which was really what matters. Everything else is, you know, a cherry on top to that, but really comes down to who's gonna make your product. Now, I'm gonna show you two methods because I don't really do it myself anymore, and I do suggest that to people. I use what's called a sourcing agent, but I'll show you how to do it if you're not gonna use a sourcing agent. So really, once you have your RFQ, your request for quote, I would make that first, okay? So don't just message suppliers without that, because once you have an RFQ, you look more serious. It's not just someone kicking tires, because you gotta think the supplier's perspective. They're here sitting all day, getting messages from tire kickers. I don't know if you ever sold anything on like Facebook Messenger, but when you just get people all day saying, is this available? How much can you make? And then they ghost you after that. It's really annoying, right? So you gotta think about the supplier perspective. So when you come out with a request for a quote, it's very thought out. They know that you know what you want and need. Then, you know, the conversations are a lot more fruitful that way. So let's go ahead and search for elemental density cubes. Density cubes. And what you're gonna get here is products. So I like to go and change it to suppliers, because you can have 10 listings here by the same supplier, because you're looking at products. So they offer 10 different products. It could be the same supplier, right? So let's change this search to supplier. Now go search. And here you have all the suppliers that provide density cubes, okay? So really at the first phase of this, oh, by the way, look at that. That's kind of like the one that we saw that we liked, right? If he just doesn't have the beveled edge. But this first phase of this, I'm not too concerned about most of the statistics. I'm not too concerned about, you know, these little, what do you call it? The verified suppliers and the trade assurance and all that kind of stuff. Really all I want to do is reach out. You know, oh, by the way, look at that. We found the stand. That's awesome. So that's the stand we wanted to create right here. That's perfect. So we're already, you know, we're getting close. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and favorite all the suppliers that sell the product. So you go favorite. Oh, I gotta log in. Okay, I'll log in. So you go favorite, and just keep going down this list and favoring all of them. Okay. And really what we were trying to do is build an outreach list. And then this is probably favorite this one too. So on here, the favorite is in a different spot. So the favorite, by the way, I think it's weird because on the listing, the favorite is a heart, but on here, the favorite is a star. But don't let that confuse you. We're just gonna make a bunch of favorites. And now the reason we're doing this is because instead of contact a supplier, because if you click this, it takes you to this place, you write this message, you send the inquiry, and then you go to the next one, right? Even if you do chat now, which is kind of like Facebook Messenger, you know, it loads up, it's the same thing, you gotta do one by one. But once you add all these to your favorite list, what you can do, you can go into your favorites. And what I like to do is I like to create a new group for the product when I make the product. So it'd be like density cubes. no spaces, density cube, and then you just confirm that. And then what you're gonna do is click on all the ones that are density cube suppliers. And I move into my density cube list. So now we got 7 in here, and I could just keep on adding and adding favorites here. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna click this little thing, and you select all of them, and then you just go contact supplier. And what this does is it messages all of them at the same time. Okay, so you don't have to worry about doing this for a million years. It's a lot faster, it's a lot easier. And what you're gonna do here is just, a lot of people put templates out or how to message suppliers, but the only key things that you need to know is mention long-term. Don't make yourself sound like a single seller. So make yourself sound bigger, like, hey, maybe I'm the purchasing agent, or hey, we are a company that does so and so and so. Give yourself a layer of separation. So don't make them think that you are the boss of the operation. Make sure long-term, we're looking to build a long-term relationship with a supplier that can produce this. And then if you have questions, do it in numbered form. So, 1, question, like, what is the cost? 2, can you make this differentiation? 3, whatever, number them out because it's a lot easier to get replies that way in numbered form. And then what you're gonna do, you're gonna add attachment and you're gonna add your RFQ, okay? So that's it. Then you do the little captcha here and then you press send inquiry and they're all gonna get sent out. So that's number 1, that's the way to do it, grassroots, the way to do it yourself. What I actually suggest though, is because when you're trying to create a product and it's like you have so many suppliers, you have so many things to go through, there's so many options, this is a tedious part of the process, right? This takes a long time to narrow down it's simple, but it's long. What I like to do is actually use a sourcing agent. So if we go to, again, I use Upwork for everything. You just search sourcing agent and you get a bunch of sourcing agents here that will actually do this job for you. Now there's a lot of benefits to a sourcing agent. They speak the native language, if you find one that speaks the native language, which means it's a lot easier for them to communicate with the suppliers. There's no language barrier. Easier for them to get discounted rates because if a supplier starts to work with you, they're just working with you. But if a supplier knows that, hey, I'm doing business with a sourcing agent and he has other customers, he might be able to get you discounted rates because the sourcing agent has more customers, more leverage that way. And then it just makes things easier. So here's a product that I actually am selling. Not on Amazon yet, but this is a product that I launched. It's a spray that melts ice on contact. And it's actually my grandpa's product, Papa Jimmy. And so this is a bottle, okay? I have this bottle, I have this bottle. I need to get quotes and prices and who could get this perfect bottle that had different options and whatnot for it. I could have done it myself, but I got a sourcing agent and this is what he came up with, okay? So he had this he came back to me with this list. We went through it. This is multiple iterations. First, it was like a bunch, like 70 suppliers. Then you come back with the email, what's the WhatsApp, what's the certificates that they have, what's the general view, how did he inquire, the follow-ups, did they get back to him on time, what's the MOQ, what's the lead time, what's the air shipping cost, what's the sea shipping cost, right? So he gets back to me with this big list, I get to go through it, I say, hey, these are the ones that I like, get back to them, and then he sends me back, these folders of the ones that I actually liked. We get a little bit more in depth with the quotes, and this is, I think, the one I actually ended up going with. We got pictures, and I can kind of understand, okay, who's getting back on time? Who has the right product? Who has the best quotes? Who has the best pricing? And it's all done for me, and it's very, very easy, and it's really not that expensive. Like, you're looking at 39 bucks an hour, 20 bucks an hour, and at the end of the day, doing a project like this for this particular product, it really only took like 20 hours. So that's like a $400 cost for the sourcing agent, and it saved me hours upon hours. Like, for me to do this, it would have taken 100 hours, maybe 40 hours, an entire week of work to do this, and I could just pay 400 bucks to get it done. Of course, I understand everyone doesn't have the luxury to do that, but it makes it a lot easier. And a good sourcing agent will also help you through the next step of the process, which is shipping. And I know that this is where a lot of people get scared, a lot of people get cold feet when it comes to freight forwarders and shipping and how should I ship and how do I make sure my supplier is going to ship it. A good sourcing agent will do that. Another thing that's good about a sourcing agent or just the process in general is when you're getting samples. Now, it's very important that you get samples. Do not skip samples. Absolutely don't do it. It's just gonna hurt you because just because it looks good on picture, it looks good on paper, it doesn't mean when you get it in your hand, it's actually gonna be what you want. So you wanna get samples, and you get usually samples from multiple suppliers at the same time. So I think I got samples from all 4 of these. And instead of paying shipping each time, because for the most part, they're just charging you shipping. So a sample would be like 150 bucks. Most of that cost is just to ship it out. What you can do with a sourcing agent is consolidate the samples. So a good sourcing agent, the ones I work with, they'll consolidate it for me. So all these suppliers send it to one supplier's warehouse, and then that one supplier sends it to me, as opposed to all of them sending it separately, right? So I save a lot of money. Like on this, you'll save like $300 or $400 just on samples, just for that reason. So just on that alone, it pays for the price of the sourcing agent. So that's definitely what I would suggest. And I would just look for one on Upwork to do that for you. And once you're ready to do that, it's time to move on to shipping that product into Amazon. So congratulations, your product is made and ready to ship into Amazon. Now this is one of the things that has changed a lot since 2020, since the extra restriction that Amazon has placed. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go into my drawing board here. You can see I have this nice art I put together, and I'm going to show you exactly how shipping works, because I think this is more important than creating a shipping plan. When you are ready to ship, you go to your Amazon seller account, you create a shipping plan. It's really straightforward stuff. Probably not the right video for this. So instead of showing you that technical stuff, which again is very straightforward, I'm gonna show you the actual theory behind it so you understand shipping, you understand what all the terms mean, why it's important to have a freight forwarder, what to do with the extra restrictions that are now placed on Amazon sellers. So let's go through this process. If you don't know how to create a product and ship from China, which I'm gonna assume is your current situation, this is all you need to know. Shipping seems very complicated, it seems very hard, but it's actually pretty easy once you understand what's going on. So you can see here, we have our cubes, right? So we have our product here, these cubes, and my pen is not working. There we go, so we got our cubes. It's made in the factory, so we're in China. Our goal is very simple, right? Our goal is to get these cubes all the way from China to Amazon. Yay, so our products are now in Amazon and they're ready to sell. So that's it. So why is that such a complicated task? Well, there's a few things, okay? There's 4 players involved in this task. You have the supplier. So the supplier could also be known as the exporter or the seller, because they're exporting the goods or they're selling the goods to you. Then you have you, right? So there's you. So you could also be known as the importer or the buyer, because you're the opposite of the supplier, right? So you're importing the goods and you're buying the goods from the supplier. Next, you have the carrier, okay? So the carrier is very simple. It's anyone that carries the goods. So whether that's by truck, whether that's by plane, whether that's by ship, they're the carrier. So the carrier could be UPS, carrier could be FedEx, okay? And then lastly, the last person involved is the freight forwarder. You're gonna hear that a lot, freight forwarder. Now, what is a freight forwarder? Your freight forwarder is gonna be your best friend, the one that makes this process actually very, very simple, very, very easy, and the one that's gonna oversee it all for you. Okay? Because here's what happens when you ship something from China. It's not as easy as sending an envelope in the post. What happens is you have your product, right? So product here, it's in a box. It's my amazing box. And what happens is your product, it's made here in China. Once it's manufactured, it has to get on the truck. That truck then takes it to a port. Now from the port, it gets loaded onto a ship. And from that ship, it crosses international waters. Okay? It's not just going over the lake. It's going over international water. That's why I have here China. And it's going to the USA, which means paperwork, customs, bonds, things like that, okay? Insurance. So there's a lot involved in crossing to another country, right? Then it lands in the port here in the States. From that port, it sits until a truck picks it up. That truck then takes it to the Amazon warehouse. Now, there's one more place now involved in this, which is called a 3PL, which we'll talk about in a second. But for all that whole process, every step involved, your freight forwarder is going to handle all of that for you. So it's very important that you find a good freight forwarder that can do all of that, because there's one more thing that's also involved, is your customs broker. So like I said, when you're across international waters, you need a customs broker to do all that paperwork for you. And instead of just shipping it yourself, finding a customs broker, you can just get a freight forwarder that will do all of that. So the customs broker will be part of the freight forwarder. So they're going to manage that whole process for you. Okay, so the next thing you need to know about shipping is the terms. So basically what you know now is that you just need to get a freight forwarder to do this for you, but there's also different levels of where the freight forwarder will take up the process. So either you could do EXW, so I'll write that here in big, EXW. EXW basically means that the manufacturer is going to finish the product and it's going to leave it right here at the warehouse. And from here, your freight forwarder, it has to pick it up in China, take it on the truck, onto the ship, into the truck, and then into Amazon or into the 3PL. So anything that happens in between that, it's on you. It's on the freight forwarder. That's the freight forwarder's job, okay? Then there's FOB, free on board. And free on board means that your manufacturer will be responsible for everything up to the port in the United States. So they cross the sea, they cross, do the customs brokerage thing, I don't know if that's a word, and then they leave it in the port in the United States. So that's all on the supplier, the manufacturer, and then your freight forwarder takes it from the United States to the Amazon warehouse. And this is what I prefer. There's actually two types of FOB, but this is called FOB destination point, I believe, which means they're taking it to the point of destination, which is the United States. And this is what I will usually use when shipping by sea. But this is all for sea shipping. Now, what happens when you take the airplane? So when you take the airplane, you're gonna hear something called DDP. Delivered duties paid, or also called door to door. Now this means literally door to door. So from the factory here, it is going to the Amazon warehouse. That's it. So this is the fastest, the easiest, the quickest, and the most expensive. So now the question is, what should I use? Should I use, sea? Should I use air? Now, really quickly, I will mention the fact that at this current moment of recording, there is delays in sea shipping. There is delays in the supply chain, as you probably heard, which means that these ships are literally sitting in the sea. They're just sitting here doing nothing, right? They're waiting to unload. They can't unload onto this port, which is why shipping rates are super expensive right now. But really, I'm not gonna worry about that for this video because I think eventually it's gonna go back to normal, right? This is not a forever thing. It's just a matter of timing. It's a matter of right now at this moment, but it's not something to be concerned about in the long term, in my opinion. So when you come to the question of which one should I use, air is what I suggest for your first order all the time. When you're ordering your first order, it's usually a test order, right? You're just trying to prove the market. You're trying to test your estimations on the product. You're getting it in quick. And so you're gonna pay a little bit more for speed so you can get it into an Amazon fulfillment center and start selling the product. And then when you are ready to place a bigger order, you start and take that in by sea. So that's what I always suggest, air first, get that speed, even if you're not as profitable on the first order because you need to ship by air, prove the market, and then ship by sea for bigger shipments. So now let's talk about the 3PL that I brought up over here. So we're gonna move or shrink this a little bit so I can do this. And here's what happens, okay? So where's our box? Here's our box. So obviously there's gonna be hundreds of boxes or hundreds of units. And what Amazon is doing right now is they're restricting inventory. So there's a restriction on how much you can send into Amazon. Let's say you estimate you're gonna sell 1,000 units every month of a product and you wanna have 3 months on hand. So you're gonna sell 1,000 units and you wanna hold stock for 3 months. So you need 3,000 units to be in the Amazon warehouse to sell that. However, now with the restrictions, Amazon might say you can only have 1,000 units. So what happens to your 2,000 units that is just stranded? Because now you have a problem, right? Either you order 1,000 units at a time from China and you go through this whole process every time to get to Amazon, and you have to do that every single month, which just is not practical. It's gonna be expensive, it's gonna be delays, it's never gonna be on time, you're always gonna run out of stock. Or you order 3,000 units, right? So you bring in 3,000 and you send the limit to Amazon. So you send 1,000 to Amazon, then you send the rest, 2,000, to another 3PL, which stands for third party logistics, which is basically another warehouse similar to the Amazon warehouse that's gonna hold your inventory for you. So and they're in the States, right? So as you sell out of Amazon, you sold those, so they're gone, you sold out of Amazon, then your 3PL will send another 1,000 into Amazon. Then you sell out again, and then your 3PL sends in another 1,000 to Amazon. So you're dripping in slowly your inventory to Amazon. So now there's one more extra buffer in front of the Amazon warehouse. Back in the day, you could just send 5,000, 10,000 units into Amazon, and it would be no problem. You store it there forever. They'll charge you storage fees if you don't sell them out, but you can just send in as much as you want to Amazon. Now they're restricting that. They're limiting your inventory, so you have to send it into a 3PL. There's lots of 3PLs. There's lots of different ones you can contact. I don't have an affiliate for one or anything like that, but I would suggest using a 3PL that is on a coast, on the water. So a 3PL in California or something like that, because if you use a 3PL that's landlocked, like in Idaho or something, there's extra delays. So get a 3PL that is actually on a port or on a port city, and it's gonna be a lot faster for you. So again, like California, something like that would be great, or And again, the 3PL is now just another necessary cost when selling on Amazon. But another benefit of a 3PL is that they can hold your inventory and not just fulfill on Amazon. So they can drip your inventory into Amazon, but they can also hook up to Shopify, right? They can also hook up to Shopify. So you don't have to just have this 2,000 waiting in the 3PL until you sell out of Amazon. You can start hooking this up to Shopify so they can fulfill your Shopify sales. They can fulfill your, ClickFunnels sales, whatever it is. So this 3PL will act as a fulfillment center for you for your other channels, right? So you selling 1,000 on Amazon, you're selling a few on Shopify, and then when Amazon starts running low, you run it back into Amazon, more into Amazon, and then from here, you're getting more shipments that are going into the 3PL. Now we've made a big mess of my beautiful art. So that's it for shipping. Now let's go on to listing creation. Okay guys, so the science of a listing is very, very important. So this is obviously the place where customers are gonna go and look at your product. This is your sales page. This is what's going to make or break your product. When you're on Amazon and you're looking for a product to buy, all you have is a listing to go off of, right? All you have is the pictures, the images, the titles. So it's good from okay, this is great, this is terrible, right? This is a terrible listing, but it's important from a customer side in how you portray your message. Remember, you're talking to that persona of the buyer. It's also important from a ranking perspective. So how Amazon reads your listing and how you're gonna rank in the listing and how you're gonna appear. And when I mean rank, it means where are you gonna appear on this first page, right? When someone searches for your density cube product, where do you show up? That's your rank, right? So this is rank 1, position 1, right? On this page for the first page. So the first thing I wanna talk about is the images, because the images sell it. Besides everything you do, your text and your copy is gonna be very important, but okay, that's not a real number, but a large percentage of customers buy based on just images. I know when I shop on Amazon, when I'm looking to buy a product, I'm looking at the pictures. I'm looking at, is this what I think it is, just based on the images. Before I even head to the description, before I head to the bullet points, I'm gonna look and judge for myself. So again, we're gonna look at this Papa Jimmy's product, this spray bottle. What I always suggest now, almost exclusively, is to use 3D rendering. 3D render is gonna get you a better looking image. It's gonna be cheaper than doing lifestyle photo shoots, and it's just gonna pop more. And it's gonna set you apart, especially a product like this. Actually, there's very little products where I would not suggest a 3D rendering, but especially a plastic product. Okay, something with a shine like this. Now I'm gonna show you. Let me actually focus it so you can see what it looks like on camera. So there it is, okay? That's how it looks on a camera. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'll show you this process. So again, I use Upwork, and here's the process. It is, look at this image, okay? So this is the image. This is the best I can get. I used a real camera for this, and you can see it just looks like a picture, right? It looks like, okay, there's like bubbles up here, and there's like reflections in the plastic. It's not popping as much as it should, and it just flat. It feels flat. Now what happens is when you send it to a 3D image, a 3D renderer, someone who can do this, they make this file. So this is called a model. They make the model, and then from this model, they can put any label on it and make it look like it's realistic in an environment. So then we get this, okay? So this looks like a real image, and this is not even the final one because this was still pink up here. But here we go. Now we have a photorealistic image. It looks so clean. It looks so nice. The red of the liquid is popping, right? The shine and the gloss. And for most people, they wouldn't even be able to tell that this was not a real picture. It just looks like a super professionally done picture. The colors, right? The Pantone, if you're worried about your branding, getting that orange, the exact color that it needs to be on screen is very important, right? So you take something like this, which looks flat and dead, and then it becomes this. So that is the power of 3D rendering, and this was $30, guys. This was $30. And I've done the thing where you hire a model, you rent out an Airbnb, and you do like these photo shoots, and it's like $1,600, right? $1,600 to get it done properly, get it done with a professional. This is $30. So 3D rendering is 100% the way to go all the time for 90% of your products. And it's gonna just look so much better on the screen. So that's the one thing I wanna talk about when it comes to images. So the next thing is actually about the ranking. So when you're doing this and you're building a listing, and we're gonna do this through Helium 10, they have a tool called Scribbles, which looks like this, which I'll show you how to use. And the beauty of Scribbles is that's gonna let you use your keywords and so that you use your keywords purposefully, because there's different levels of keyword rank on Amazon. So the most important is your title, right? So whatever's in your title is what Amazon's gonna read to rank your product. Now, when you are doing this, you wanna keep in mind your keywords. So we made that keyword list. You remember this 15-word list right here that we made, and we looked through them all like this. Now, these are not all made equally, right? So the most important one is probably density cubes, because that is the most relevant search term for your product, right? That is what people are going to look for when they actually want to find your product. So density cubes must be your number one keyword in your title. Now, there's 3 levels of keywords. There's the exact, there's phrase, and there's broad. So if I take this and I put this in my title, right? So I go density cubes. That is an exact match for that phrase, for that keyword, because it's exactly what it is, density cubes, okay? And then the next thing is a phrase match. So a phrase match means density cubes, and you add something else. So density cubes green, or it could be large density cubes. So something in the front or something at the end of this keyword, which would make it that. So if someone searched large density cubes, right, that would be a phrase match. And then there's broad. So it could be density iron cubes. So it's something that goes in between that changes the keyword, so it's not exactly what it is. So it breaks that keyword up. So if you put density iron cubes, you're no longer gonna rank on Amazon for density cubes, or not that you're not gonna rank, but Amazon is not reading that as an exact match for density cubes. So you're losing the power of your number one keyword. So that's why it's very important that you put these keywords in a specific order and in a specific way that boosts your rank the way that Amazon sees it. Now, it's also secondarily important that you remember when you're selling products, you're creating listings, you're simultaneously juggling 2 balances. The balance of selling for Amazon, meaning for the machine of Amazon, and then selling to people. So if you just went and go like this, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna actually copy this list, right? Copy that, and we can put it into Scribbles here and apply. So now it's pulling out the phrases and then the words. So these are the phrases, density cubes, density spheres, and it pulls these all out into individual words. So we want the goal to be to use all of these phrases and use all of these words, but also not confuse human beings. So if we went density cubes, right, and it's cool because it crosses it out, and that 1 just shows how many times it's used in the listing. So if I go here and I put it in my bullet point, it'll be 2, right? So if we went density cube, density sphere, element cubes set, great. We put all of our top phrases there, right? We put all our top phrases into the title, we're gonna rank. But also when a human being reads this, they're gonna be like, what the heck is that, right? Density cubes, density spheres, element cube set. That doesn't make sense. So you wanna juggle between using all your phrases, using all your main keywords, but also making it readable for humans. And you'll see that a lot on Amazon, people that's keyword stuff that have a bunch of random stuff here like carbon, nickel, iron, copper, zinc, aluminum, tin, for collections DIY, right? So it's kind of interesting when you see that happening, but I like to, my rule of thumb is keep it for humans. Keep it clean, succinct, so it just, in my opinion, it just looks nicer. When people are searching for stuff, it just looks nicer when it's a clean title, it's very clear, they know what it is, and they click on it, okay? So main keywords, so the first thing you wanna do is put your brand. So let's say our brand is White House. That's kind of cool, like Walter White, White House, you know, scientific, but also like the White House. Anyway, so it's a White House density cubes. So here, White House metal density cubes with 9-piece element sample set. So I got the main 2 keywords, element sample set, density cubes. I included metal, and then brand name with 9 pieces. So it's very clear, concise what it is. Then from here, we're gonna fill out our bullet points. And again, you want to use these keywords, you want to use all the words, and these weren't actually the main keywords, right? We didn't do very extensive keyword research, so this was just a list that we built. So you would have a very extensive list of this, and you would know which ones are the most important, which ones you want to include in the bullet points. But the most important part about bullet points, guys, is not the keywords necessarily. Again, it is important, but it's very important that you write copy that sells. And the way to write copy that sells is to not focus on the features. So a lot of people, when they come through here, they focus on the features like this. High purity, okay, not alloys. Pretty looks, natural metal. Daily met elements. So what the heck is going on here, right? So it's 99%, they're all 99%, that's great. Customer guarantee and Amazon choice good deal. So this is against the TOS. You can't be claiming Amazon choice, especially when you're not, right? So there's so many problems with this listing, it's not even funny. But the main thing is that they're listing features, not benefits. Benefit is pretty looks is a feature. Benefit is why. Benefit is why is that good for me? What does it matter for me? Be the envy of all your friends, right? That's what it like. That's what a benefit is. It's when you talk about the emotional impact that's gonna have on you. Best display. Impress your scientific friend with the best gift he's ever gotten, right? Like it's putting it in a way that's not just about what the product does, what the product has, but how that feature benefits your life. So that's what you really want to focus on when you write copy. And again, there's entire courses on copy. I can't cover all of it here, but just know that that's really, if you can nail that down, nothing else really matters. It's, can you translate what your product does, what your product is, and then communicate that in a way that makes it, the person that's gonna buy it, feel better about themselves, feel better about their choice to buy it, and make it, sell them on the emotional impact. And again, we're gonna know this more in detail because we built out that customer avatar, right? We know what they like. We know why they buy this. Is it because they're really testing, right? Are they really chipping at this metal and wanting to know that's 99.99? I don't know. Or is it because it looks cool and it's a cool display and they're avid collectors, right? Are you gonna, maybe sell aluminum or sell a rare one and say, the one piece you're missing for your collection, something like that, that really taps into the fact that, hey, these people want this for a certain reason, and you're gonna communicate that with them. And the next thing is for your listing is when you get brand registry. So I'm gonna try and find a listing here that has brand registry. So I just pull up yoga mats, and what you can see here is when you have brand registry, when you scroll down on the listing, you're gonna see this A+ content. So they have more space where they can put custom stuff and they can cross-sell products across their entire store. So brand registry, you get that by getting a trademark, and I do suggest that actually to get a trademark for your brand. If you know you're serious about selling on Amazon, get a trademark, get it done, and then you can right away apply for brand registry and get this A+ content for your stuff. And this really does improve the overall quality and the amount of messaging you can get across to your customer. And those are the keys of a good listing. All right, congratulations, your product is in, it's listed, and you're now ready to launch. Now I gotta stress again one more time, guys, that this of course is not everything involved with Amazon FBA. This is just to give you the basic understanding and the mindset of how it works and to figure out if this is right for you. Again, free Discord, I want you to join that. I'm gonna be very active there, answering all your questions. So if you want to follow up with me directly, join that Power Up community. So now, the thing about launch that I want to stress through this is that the launch doesn't start when your product arrives. The launch doesn't start on the day you're ready to launch. The launch starts much further, much earlier than that. And it really comes down to building out a launch strategy that is not just about Amazon. And that's another thing that's really changed recently, is that you can't just be Amazon focused if you want to succeed in the long term. You got to really think about your other channels, your other ways of growing, getting attention, getting viewers, getting eyeballs, getting people to buy your product that's not just based on Amazon. So the first thing is really about building a list, building a following, building some kind of hype around your brand. And my absolute favorite way to do this right now, the cheapest, freest, best way to do it, I think, is TikTok. So one of the things that I really think you should consider when you're launching a product is, does it have a TikTok ability? Meaning, can you make a video about this on TikTok and get people to view it and get people to see it, and a shareability and virality around your product, just at least within that niche, right? If it's these elemental cubes, can you make TikToks and videos about it and get it shared and get it viewed across the niche of, these science nerds? And I guarantee you can. I know you can. So if you start building a list on TikTok like a month before, or whatever it is, before your product actually arrives, like when you get your first samples, start making videos and TikToks about it, and just become a TikTok watcher, viewer, because you understand how silly and how simple it is to make a video that blows up, and then start building a list. So from there, I would start building a list of potential customers, an email list, maybe even a list of influencers, people that you would send this product out to, so that once you're ready to launch it on Amazon, you can immediately hit that list up through emails. You can hit up your influencers, say, hey, start promoting this product for me, and then it's, it's floodgates already opening, and you're already getting people going to Amazon, off of Amazon, to buy your product, and Amazon will reward you for that. The next phase within Amazon is actually your sponsored campaign. So you can see here, when you search density cubes, you're gonna have these sponsored, right? Sponsored here, sponsored here. So these people are paying to be here, and that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna set up your first PPC, pay-per-click campaigns. Now, I'm not gonna go through it in this video because it's, another whole process, but just know that when you launch, I suggest that you set up an exact match PPC campaign. Don't worry about auto. Don't worry about broad match. Just do an exact match for the keywords that you found. So we found these keywords here, right? These ones here, these are not actually the ones you would want to do, but you have an extensive list that you built out inside Magnet that you use to build out inside scribbles for your listing. So you're going to want to target the keywords that you think are the most important. So density cubes, element cubes, whatever keywords that you think are the most important, put your budget into that and start ranking and getting sales for those keywords. Now, a lot of people think that you shouldn't run PPC until you have reviews, but it's the chicken and the egg. It's the horse before the cart. It's kind of like you need to run PPC to get sales, to get reviews in the first place. So 100% start PPC right away because you have this what's called a honeymoon period. So a honeymoon period when you launch your product on Amazon, it's kind of like the first 60 to 30, 60, or 90 days when Amazon is basically giving you the benefit of the doubt, right? You're a new seller, it's a new product, so they're going to give you the benefit of the doubt, and they're going to push your product. They're going to juice you a little bit more than older products. So you want to really make the most of this period to get up there and get ranked on Amazon. Now, one thing you're going to hear that actually was just changed recently, like literally 2 weeks ago, is called search, find, buy. Now this is a way to rank your product on Amazon. So if we go into Amazon here, search, find, buy means someone is searching the exact keyword that you want to rank for. So if you want to rank for density cubes, you would tell someone to search density cubes, find your product, scroll down wherever you are, page 1 or page 2, then click on your listing from this search, and then add to cart and buy from there. And that's gonna give you rank juice for this. However, Amazon just changed their TOS to literally say that you can't do that anymore. You cannot use, I forgot what the wording was. So here it is, was literally just changed, attempting to influence search results by inflating search ranking through keyword manipulation or incentivizing customers' searches to appear as organic behavior. So search, find, buy, like I said, was a way of incentivizing people. There was actually companies that would help you do this to tell people to search this out and buy the product by so-and-so, and then it would rank you up faster, and then you would give them a rebate on the product. So that is no longer, seems like it is allowed by Amazon, so I wouldn't risk it for your product. So just keep that in mind when you are launching and ranking your product. The next thing to think about is the pricing. So again, we want to come in with a premium price. That was the whole plan, to beat this guy, maybe sell for 75. But when you're just starting out, you got no reviews, to get that momentum going, I would suggest lowering the price a bit. Maybe go with, beat it by 10 bucks because there's such a huge margin on this product, right? Be 55 or 54.97. And start getting that rank juice and start getting those sales initially going through your exact match PPC campaigns, and then the ranking and the traffic you're bringing in from outside sources. And that is Amazon FBA. Now, if you got this far, this is obviously something that you want to take seriously. So if you want to message me and ask me more questions, join the Power Up community. The Discord link is in the description. Don't worry if you don't know how to use Discord. I'll show you how to do that in that group as well. But my goal is to build the best community for the hustlers, for the disruptors, for the creators, and for the power players. And that's going to all happen in that group. I'm going to be inside there every single day answering questions, talking and interacting with you guys. So make sure to join that if you have more questions to follow up on this video. And since this is the first video on the JT Franco Secrets channel, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.